What's up YouTube? Thanks for tuning in to Maddie's Kicks. Now before we get started, I just want to thank you for watching and thank you to those who have subscribed. If you have not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button because I will be coming up with more content consistently. I do have a lot to show you guys, so definitely keep tuning in. Now, I've been wanting to do a video like this for a while. I just haven't had the chance to get around to it. But since Stephen Curry won the MVP award yesterday, I figured it'd be fitting that I do a comparison between the Under Armour CLUTCHFIT Drive, which is the shoe he wore last season, and the Under Armour Curry 1, which is his first official signature shoe. Now with that being said, let's get into it. One of the first things I noticed when comparing the CLUTCHFIT Drive to the Under Armour Curry 1 is the overall silhouette between the two. You'll notice that on the CLUTCHFIT Drive, the shoe does run a bit higher than the Curry 1. On the CLUTCHFIT Drive, you actually have 8 eyelet holes for the laces, whereas on the Under Armour Curry 1, you just have 7 eyelet holes for the laces. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to start from the bottom and work its way up. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Sorry, that was corny. I apologize. First off, let's compare the outsoles of the shoe. They're pretty much identical. Both shoes feature a full-length herringbone pattern. The only difference, which is a minor difference, is probably the lightning bolt pattern that runs down the middle of the shoe. On the Curry 1, it's a little bit more of a sharper pattern, where on the CLUTCHFIT, it's a little bit more curved. Moving to the midsole of the shoe, that the CLUTCHFIT Drive has micro G cushioning in it, whereas on the Curry 1, they've combined the micro G with a new cushioning system called Charged. The main difference to me, what I felt, was that the CLUTCHFIT Drive actually has a softer ride to it. The cushioning's a little bit softer, it's a little bit more plush, whereas on the Curry 1, because they've combined the Charged cushioning with the micro G cushioning, you kind of have the best of both worlds. You have the soft micro G cushioning, and then you have the Charged cushioning, which is a little bit more firm. It's a little bit more responsive. I personally like the cushioning on the CLUTCHFIT Drive more, which may surprise a lot of people. A lot of people that I speak to love the Charged cushioning on the Curry 1, but I personally like I like the softer ride. I like the softer bounce to the shoe, and it's just a personal preference. I can't say one is better than the other. It's really just a subjective thing depending on the person who's using it. Moving up the shoe to the upper, on the CLUTCHFIT Drive, we have the CLUTCHFIT technology, which is pretty much like a plastic webbing that surrounds the foot, and the purpose of it is really in the name. It's supposed to clutch your foot, it's supposed to keep it locked in. The Curry 1 has a new innovative upper called Anafoam, and it's actually right here printed on the medial side. I don't know if you could see that. Basically what Anafoam is, it's a compound mixture of foam and mesh. It's supposed to be a supportive upper, or a supportive material that is also very breathable. Now, one of the downsides of the CLUTCHFIT Drive was the lack of ventilation. I did notice right away that ventilation was an issue in the shoe. The only points of access for ventilation are really along the tongue here. Everything else along the CLUTCHFIT upper is not breathable at all. So I noticed that right away after I used them. I noticed that my sock was pretty damp when I took the shoes off after playing basketball. You can actually see that there are little ventilation holes, I guess you can say, along the toe box and along the medial side of the upper. Now, moving on to the back of the shoe, you'll notice that both on the CLUTCHFIT Drive and on the Curry 1, they both have a low profile right here at the back of the ankle area, right around where the Achilles is. And what that does is that it just increases or enables your range of motion when you're using the shoe. It's a little bit less restrictive. So basically, you know, you have the support of a mid-cut or a high cut right around the front, and in the rear of the shoe, it's less restrictive. You have a little bit more room to work with in terms of motion with your ankle. So that's a definite benefit of the shoe. And back to the rear of the shoe, both shoes have a heel counter on the back. The one on the CLUTCHFIT Drive is a little bit softer. It's almost like a softer plastic, whereas on the Curry, you can hear that it's a little bit harder. But both do a pretty good job at securing your heel, minimizing any sort of heel movement or heel shifting during use. So both do a really good job at that. Moving on to the front of the shoe, you'll see that both shoes utilize a full mesh along the tongue. And what that does is not only provide comfort for when you're lacing up the shoes pretty tightly, but it provides really good ventilation for your foot. It just gives it more breathability overall. And you'll also notice, here, let me just unlace these so you can get a better look. But you'll notice that on the top of the tongue on both shoes, they both have the SC30 logo on them. Alright guys, now the question that everybody is asking, which shoe is better? And the answer to that question is that there is no right or wrong answer. Basically, both shoes have a lot to offer, especially at the price point that it's at. The CLUTCHFIT Drive being at $125 US and the Curry One being at $120 US. Basically, for the price, you can't go wrong because both shoes have a lot to offer and you really get your bang for your buck when you go with either shoe. If someone were to ask me what my personal preference is, I personally would go with the CLUTCHFIT Drive simply because I like the full-length micro G cushioning. It's just a personal preference though. I like a shoe that's a little bit softer, that provides a little bit more comfort and a little bit more cushioning on my foot and on my knees. But on the other side, if you're somebody who doesn't mind a cushioning system that's a little bit more firm, not as soft and not as cushy, then I would definitely say try out the Curry One. So like I said before, it's really a personal preference. It really depends on the type of player you are and the type of cushioning systems that you prefer. I will say this, if you are into trying out new innovative technologies, go with the Under Armour Curry One because they do have the new Anafoam upper, which is something they've never done before. And they also have the combination of the charged and micro G cushioning in the sole. So if you want to try something new, definitely go with this and you'd save yourself $5 when you compare the two. Alright guys, that pretty much wraps up my video. Now thanks again for watching, and if you haven't already, please comment, like, and subscribe, and until next time, peace.